2026 has started off chaotically.
Society-wise, chaotically, yes. But how about you personally? Have you picked up on any energy? How have you been feeling energetically?
So, very interestingly for me, the end of 2025 was chaotic. Like, personally, I went through a death in the family. There was a lot of personalities to manage, and I just, like, did my best empath self and did a lot of smoothing things over and did a lot of, you know
Do you shield yourself as an empath?
oh,
Especially during those times?
100%. Maybe you and I have talked about this, I can't remember if it was on the pod or not. I had someone share with me once that it's best as an empath to start the day by picturing like, your shields up. Like, literally, like, I start and I picture, like, from the top of my head to my toes, like, a shield that's coming
Ooh.
around my body, and then I used to try and use that to deflect other people's energy, but what I started to do with it was I picture it like my good internal energy actually emanating outwards and permeating the energy of others so that like they're experiencing like
So, like, you're
my
putting your energy out before energy can come in versus, like, acting more like a filter.
exactly. And that's what I found that before, like when I didn't understand that I was an empath, first I was acting as a filter, like osmosis of other people's energy, and that
Which
was
is
like
exhausting.
exhausting, right?
Confusing.
And then once I was introduced to the idea of being an empath by my therapist, shout out to my therapist.
Woohoo, we love therapy.
Yeah. That's when I started to kind of try and find ways to work with it. And so at first I was trying to deflect, deflect, deflect. But that's exhausting.
I mean, yeah, like, think about it, like, constantly being on defense.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah, that's exhausting. So what I started to do was I started to picture that and then I pictured it as like my energy force field and that it's just like my energy that's like just beaming out to others all the time.
Mm. Okay. Do you have a tune or a beat that it goes to, like, boom, boom, boom?
I mean, it really depends on the day. Sometimes my energy is like do 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 do. And then sometimes like I really like emo music. So like
Mm,
on the drive in
same.
this morning I was listening to Hot Mulligan. Are you familiar?
Yes, I love Hot
Yeah,
Mulligan.
so
Oh,
some, like, hot molly in the morning,
it's a nice little screamy sad boy.
yeah. How do you know it's not armadillo shells? Yeah, that's pretty much I think that's my internal beat is hot mulligan. The front bottoms,
Those are also they're
yeah.
also pretty good.
Yeah, the front bottoms twin size mattress is actually I don't know if you're a Stranger Things fan,
Mm-mm.
but there's this whole character in Stranger Things called Vecna, and the way that you fight Vecna from like he's a psychic that can infiltrate your mind,
Fun.
and the way that you do that is with music. So, my therapist again, shout out therapy, um, suggested that I watch a show and that I pick a song that would be a song that I could use to fight Vecna, hashtag anxiety.
Circling back around to the energy, there's been people coming up to me lately, like, "Hey, what's going on?" But also, I've been having some wicked dreams.
Wicked.
Like, not the musical.
Oh man, I was really hoping you were gonna say the musical. You couldn't be lovelier, my friend.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. But no, like, so last night, well, I guess technically this morning, I popped awake, like, from a nightmare.
What time?
5 AM.
Oof, that's brutal.
Technically 25 minutes before my alarm went off too.
Now I know why you texted me so early.
Yeah. But hold on. It gets freakier. So, do you wanna hear about the dream?
Oh, 100%.
I was in front of a school building, like an old school brick school building that you see kind of like in the Mid-Atlantic.
I can picture it right now. I'm
Perfect.
thinking about that school in Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yep. No, actually, yeah. So something like that. I was on a school bus, and then there's people who are just telling us to stay seated, and then we get off the bus and like chauffeured off the bus and standing. And then there's a bunch of other buses releasing kids, air quotes, in front of the school. And then we're like being told like it's very almost like Gestapo-y. So like
So you and a bunch of high schoolers.
me and a bunch of high schoolers, but I'm also technically a high schooler. but also looking like myself, not my high school self, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So we were all standing outside of the school, and there's like this icky tension in the air. And then we get like demanded, like we need to go inside the school now. But I'm like, no, we can't go in the school. There's something bad in the school. Like we cannot go in the school. But like we're like forced into the school. And so me and this like group of kids, we go into the school, and it's just like these green lockers lining the hallways. And I'm like, this is bad. This is not a good place to be. And so I take some kids and like a group of 10 kids or so, and we go into this classroom and we close the door into the classroom. But then there's other kids still meandering the hallways, but like it's like close the doors in the classrooms. And this is the first time where I've like transported consciousnesses in a dream. I know that I myself am in the classroom with these kids, but then my mind then pops over to this male kid's brain, and I'm now seeing through his point of view, but still knowing that I'm elsewhere. But then my point of view, almost like I'm not astroplaning.
Like you're still in your body.
Right. Correct. So this kid that I'm with is with two other kids. They go down into this other doorway, which then takes them down these stairs. And like the square descent that high schools have, where it's like,
Yeah. I know exactly where you're
yeah. So it was like that. And so they start running down these stairs because like it's just like run for your life moment. And so I'm seeing through this perspective of this kid and these two other kids, and they're running and they're huffing and puffing, and the stairs keep going and going and going. There's like this impending fear, and you can hear like banging and clanging. And it's just like going and going and going. The stairs aren't ending. And they/we come to an end point, and they're just locked in. And there's these doors, and the doors are all shutting and they're not opening up. And then it's just like you hear a hissing, and then just like not like a snake hissing, but like a sizzle, like a steam hissing. And then you start to see smoke coming out through the vents, and like they're wheezing. And then I feel the kid start to pass out as like I see two like smaller shadow figures, and you can sense like this impending doom and hear the stomping of something bigger and like, just like evil. And then I hear a cough, like a big, like masculine guttural cough. And then the kid/me passes out, and then I wake up at 5 a.m.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh, it was one of those dreams where you wake up and then you just like instantly turn on the TV because you're like, oh my God. But then I'm in bed and I'm still tired. This is still around the same time that the dream ended. And I just hear something because I shuffled, like I turned, and I just heard something hit the floor. And I thought it was my phone. Like I flipped my phone out of my bed. I have a bookshelf with a bunch of stuff on the top, and then I usually keep like a Vicks jar because sinuses. And just the jar had jumped from the top shelf of my bookshelf, and it was pushed towards the back all the way to the edge of the foot of my bed.
That's so weird.
Yeah. I'm like, dang, was I snoring? Did the ghost say get some Vicks? Like, I don't know.
It is possible. It's possible. Or it's like in your dream you couldn't breathe.
Shut the front door.
I'm just saying.
Oh, I got, ooh, gross. Get out of here. Ooh, gross. Ooh, I got chills.
So here is the other thing. What if the perspective you were seeing through was actually a real perspective and it was a ghost? That ghost actually died in that fire.
Ooh, gross.
I have not been dreaming lately, so I'm gonna live vicariously through your dreams. I went back. I think maybe my anxiety levels have leveled out. Maybe it's just that my mantra for right now, yesterday was the 111 portal.
Yes.
So I tried my best to use a little bit of the magic of the universe, and my mantra is I am living in the life path that I want.
Ooh, I like that for you.
I know today we're going to be talking about a sign.
Hmm. This sign,
Is an air sign.
it is. Even though a lot of people think it's a,
Water sign.
yes,
Because it is.
Aquarius.
Yes, but Aquarius is absolutely an air sign.
Oh, 110.
I wanted to start off. We had been talking last time about what if we did a segment that was Guess the Famous Aquarius.
Ooh.
Okay.
Let's do,
So
I'm ready.
I've got a few here. I want you to think of someone who is a historical figure.
Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, wait. How did you know that?
I just knew.
This person is a musician.
Mhm.
They very recently wrote a very popular Broadway musical.
Like, how recently?
Very recently, like within the last couple of years.
Okay.
They play the piano. They became very famous in the early 2000s.
Damn. Okay. Pause, please. Early 2000s.
Yep.
Musician. Like, originally a musician, like a pop artist? What kind of music did they play?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Originally pop R&B-ish.
Okay. I was gonna go Lance Bass, but no.
They have a really famous collab with Jay-Z about the city of New York.
Oh, Alicia Keys?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you another one that I told you, like, I'll give you another one that's not a musician. Okay, this person was a beauty queen.
Mhm.
They
Like an actual, like, beauty pageant beauty
Yeah,
queen?
yeah, yeah,
Or
yes.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a very famous talk show.
Tyra Banks?
No,
Oh,
but good guess.
okay.
Um, they have a empire now, a very big empire of, like, a whole network.
Oprah?
Yeah. Well, so what do all of these people have in common? Alicia Keys, Abraham Lincoln, Oprah.
They're Aquarians?
Well, beyond being Aquarians, what about
Social justice icons?
yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Also on the list was Harry Styles. I was gonna give you Harry, but then I thought if you didn't get Alicia, you might not get Harry.
I would not have gotten Harry.
Also Shakira, whose hips don't lie.
I would have gotten Shakira probably.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that you got a little bit more to tell us about this incredible sign of Aquarius.
I do actually. And, so Aquarius is ruled by both Saturn and Uranus. Some of the tarot cards it's associated it with is the star, which makes sense because like these are air signs. And, it's interesting because the sign of Aquarius, it is the cupbearer. And so what a cupbearer is someone who literally just goes around and fills people's cups. And that's part of the reason why that he gets confused for being
A water sign.
a water sign, which he's not. Very much air, because these folks are very cerebral. They're visionary.
Fact.
They operate more like an air sign. They operate more with their thoughts versus their feelings. Whereas a water sign, they operate through the world with more of their heart and their emotions. Whereas this air sign is more about like communication, particularly the more February ones, and then communication and ideas. It's how they view and step into the world. The chakra associated with this one is the root chakra. Think about it like this is a person who really wants to change the world. They're very good at being their own little social justice warriors, essentially. So they rule the lower half of the body, so the shins, the calves, the ankles, and the circulatory system. So anything that involves movement, because Aquarius being the final air sign is all about this movement. Just like with all the other signs, there are 3 different decans of Aquarius. So you have the first part, which is the innovator. When you think of Aquarius, this is more of like the true representation of the sign of Aquarius. They're more rebellious, innovative. Then you have the communicator, which has more influence from Gemini because they have that partial influence from Mercury. So they are all about like talking and socializing. They are idea people, they're storytellers. And then you have the harmonious deacon, so the third half of Aquarius, who, they fuse the best of both. And they are a little bit more artistic and, again, really focus in on that social justice aspect of the sign. I feel like out of all the zodiac signs, they're the ones that fight it the most.
That makes sense. Like, they're the most grounded in, like, reality and
Mhm.
not like, you wouldn't sit down and have a zodiac conversation with an Aquarian.
Not typically. Like, there's a few that you can open up the conversation with, but usually they're the ones that are like, "Ugh, astrology is not real."
Listen, you can believe it all day, Aquarius. You can believe it all day. That does not keep you from being part of this universe.
Right, but it's interesting because they are such deep thinkers, and they really do value, like, this independence, and, like, they're this beautiful fusion of, like, structure meets this originality, and, like,
Yeah,
there's a
which makes sense why there's so many musicians.
right.
Like, let's look at, like, someone like Alicia Keys, for example, right? Like, she's not just a musician. She is someone who is continuously creating. She's an activist.
Mhm.
She's out there writing Broadway musicals, Like,
Do you know what her musical's called?
yeah, it's called Hell's Kitchen. I really, really, really wanna see it, and it's not a jukebox musical. Do you know what a jukebox musical is?
Where that's just songs from, like, the artist.
Exactly. It's like Sarah Bareilles wrote Waitress. She actually wrote a musical. Now, Waitress is based off of a movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's based off the movie
I did
Waitress with
not
Kerry Russell.
I did not realize she wrote that musical.
Yeah, Sarah Bareilles?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh gosh. Do you know that song from it, She Used to Be Mine? It's like
Huh.
that was on my list of Vecna songs.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
that's an incredible, incredible musical. And I heard she might be working on another one, which would be incredible. But Alicia wrote Hell's Kitchen. It's more like I don't think it's autobiographical, but it's about like the area
She grew up.
where she grew up. And yeah, so I'm really interested to see it. And I've heard from people who've seen it on Broadway because this is the first time that it's touring that it's incredible. So I think maybe we do a little homework, a little excursion where we go see Hell's Kitchen when it comes.
I like it. Also, quick sidebar, there is a stage play on Paranormal Activity,
Ooh,
and it's
fun.
supposed to be free, and I think it's a 3-cast show.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I will never every time we talk about paranormal activity, I'll never forget the time we went on that ghost hunt.
Just need to do another one. When you go to Casadega,
Oh, we so should.
dude, like,
So
your
should.
next homework for the spring.
And we can go to St. Augustine.
Ooh, yeah, I love St. Augustine.
Yeah. I lived there for 5 years. You know what's weird about St. Augustine is when I lived there, everyone who lived there, I'd be like, "Oh, what brought you to St. Augustine?" And they'd be like, "I don't know. It just kinda felt right."
Ooh,
Like it's an
spooky.
energy place,
Yeah,
you
you
know
just
what I
get
mean?
drawn, and it's like
Yeah.
the signal goes out from St. Augustine, and you follow.
I picked it because Flagler looked like Hogwarts.
I wanted to go to Flagler, and then I saw how much it would cost to go to Flagler.
I went to Flagler, and it is half of my student loans. So and I was only there for 2 semesters.
Shut the
Mhm.
front door.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's why I went to #community college.
I love it.
Yeah, SPC. Actually, I feel like of all of the places I went to school at Flagler
SPC was good.
and SPC and then USF. And I mean, nothing against USF, especially Women's and Gender Studies program, because
Mhm.
like, I don't know if you know this, but USF has the longest standing women's and gender studies program in the country.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
Well, I hope it stays open.
it was established in the '70s. Support it. Yeah, because college is all based on enrollments. So go take some WGS classes. The professors there are incredible. They're just incredible humans, and yeah. So nothing against that program, and nothing against USF, but SBC just gave me the best. I mean, the individualized attention you get.
Oh, it's true. I mean, I don't know about,
Yeah.
like, right now, but, like, the I had a professor hold up class because I was running late.
Literally, and, like, the class sizes I never understood math, and my math teacher at SPC told me I was dyslexic, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, my whole life, I never knew that." As soon as she told me I was dyslexic and started giving me some ways to, like, work with my
Mhm.
dyslexia, I started to understand math. So,
Right.
shout out St. Petersburg College because
And
I don't think I'd be
accessibility,
Yeah.
all those campuses, like
Yeah, I don't think I'd be as educated as I am today if I hadn't gone there.
yeah, and they actually, like, try to get their students opportunities.
Absolutely,
At
100%.
least they used to. I can't speak to it now, but, like, at least 10 years ago.
And the Tarpon campus has a beautiful art museum.
Yes, I used to take my art classes there.
Yeah, the Leaper Radner.
Mhm.
Love it. So,
Love it. Anyway, shall we go back to our darling Aquarius?
yes, absolutely. But I feel like they'd like that we sidebarred on, something so artistic.
Oh, for sure. So, I love an Aquarius. I love them. They're like the weirdos of the zodiac signs, and I absolutely adore them, even though they can be rigid, but they're also so rooted. And kind of like what you're saying, like how a lot of them are musicians. Being a musician takes a lot of work and structure. And so, like, I think Aquarius has this, it's the perfect blend of like the rigidity of Capricorn and the dreaminess of Pisces.
The whimsy.
The whimsy.
The whimsy of Pisces. Man, Pisces is coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Yay, Pisces. Remember when we were like, Sagittarius, woo, 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 woo. Capricorn, yeah.
Aquarius, love you.
Pisces. I like Pisces. My one of my nephews is a Pisces, and he is the sweetest, sweetest boy that you're ever gonna meet in your whole
I
life.
hear you.
He's just a bundle of joy. During the last hurricane, I went to my sister's house, and all he wanted to do was just cuddle and watch Harry Potter.
Oh,
It was the best.
oh.
It was the best.
Clementine's a Pisces, and I do adore her.
Clementine is a Pisces, and all she wants to do is cuddle and watch Harry Potter.
Well, Aquarius, goes back to, of course, ancient Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, in particular, Aquarius was associated with the annual floodings of the Nile. So it's literally like a life bringer.
Another reason why people might think it's a water sign
Exactly.
is because of all of these different connections to water and
Mhm.
life.
So there's another story associated with Aquarius, the air sign, that he was the son of Zeus, directed to pour water from heaven to earth to cleanse it of humanity that Zeus disagreed with. Now, Zeus, because Zeus was pissed and he was very temperamental as a god, no offense, but there were two humans that Zeus deemed righteous enough to survive. I'm gonna mispronounce their names, but I'm gonna try. Deucalion and Priam. They were spared for their righteousness, and Deucalion was instructed to build a boat.
Very interesting. There are so many flood stories throughout lore and history, and I just wonder, like, there must have been, right? Like,
Well,
there
according to ancient astronaut theorist, like, there's an actual ancient aliens episode on this.
interesting.
You
Tell me
know,
more. You know I love an alien story.
well, like, because, like, there are so many flood stories across all parts of the earth. So, like, according to ancient astronaut theorist, um there must have been some kind of flood, but of course they think it was brought on by the aliens, and, like, in these different, cultures, it was the various gods.
This is a movie. Like, Hollywood, listen up. This is a movie waiting to happen.
I mean, probably they already made a movie with Russell Crowe called Noah,
Yeah, I mean, and Waterworld.
and Waterworld, and 2012.
And what about Interstellar? One of my favorite films. They get stuck on that water planet where it takes, like, so long to move. They're, like, trying to run, and the
I
thing's
mean, I
big
literally
wave is
predicted
coming.
all of Interstellar, so it was very,
You
exciting for me.
you didn't like Interstellar?
No, I mean, it was very beautifully done, but I was like,
Oh my gosh.
called it.
Did we finally find something we diverge on? I love Interstellar. That's one of my favorite movies.
It's so
Don't spoil it if somebody hasn't seen it, but it's got a really I think and of course, I knew what was gonna happen. Like, it's not like I was like, "Oh, I wonder what's gonna happen." Like, they do lay it out. Like, the clues are pretty clear, right? However, it's got a beautiful arc. It's got a beautiful ending. It's about family. It's about love. It's about space. Anne Hathaway's in it.
I do love Anne Hathaway, but meh.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
We disagree on Pisces and Interstellar.
And so the story goes, like, the flood stopped when, one of them threw a stone over his shoulder, and then she threw a stone over her back, and that helped make the flood stop and then created the land of the earth. Now, interesting side story, Deucalion, he is the son of Prometheus, and Pyra, she is supposed to be the daughter of Pandora.
Well, it's interesting though, because Zeus hated Prometheus.
Mhm.
So but loved his son?
Like, a nice little redemption arc. So that's just, like, one little side story, and I think it's interesting, like, again, how it ties into yet another flood, and I was kinda like, this is giving some Noah vibes." Aquarius is most commonly associated with the story of Ganymede. Ganymede was this beautiful young man, like, supposed to be the most beautiful of young men on earth. Like, he was as beautiful as the gods, basically. And so Zeus was like, I want him to pour me my nectar. He's young, swept up and stolen from his family into Olympus to become the cupbearer of the Olympians because he's so beautiful. Now he replaces one of Hera's daughters, and that kind of pisses Hera off because, of course, she's a very jealous woman. I'd like to do more research on her because I feel like there's something else there. But anyway, he is also known as the god of homosexuality. And Ganymede, because of his beauty, was granted immortality. And then placed in the stars because of, Hera got jealous that he replaced the job of cupbearer of her daughter. And so to kind of quell his wife, he just put Ganymede into the stars.
I was just gonna say that is so gay of him. Like, I mean, can you imagine being so pretty and so
So
beautiful
pretty.
that you're plucked by the gods and then placed into the stars? Like, it
Mhm.
just and first of all, like, I love gay boys. Like, I love gay boys. I mean, they really are a gift. Like, I feel like here's one of the things I love from a sociological perspective is that they are really especially the ones who, like, present a little bit more masculine, they are really just, like, throwing shade in the face of all of the things that the patriarchy is trying
Oh,
to do.
absolutely.
And they're doing it in the most beautiful and manly and sexiest way, and I just, like, man, like, I am full on attracted to women. However, gay men, sexy as hell.
Well, like, kind of to build off of what you were saying, like, that bravery to be authentic.
Yeah. And to just love boys. I think one of the reasons this gay hockey show, have you heard of it? Heated Rivalry?
I have because I saw the book in a bookstore the other day.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
I honestly know nothing about it, so
And I think what's beautiful about it, and I think what's taking off about it is that it's 2 masculine men.
well, remember Brokeback Mountain?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like, that
saying.
broke the internet. Well, was the
Well,
internet really a thing? That just
it
I mean,
was.
I know it
Yeah.
was because I was alive,
What it
but
did was it just broke the norms.
it did,
It
it
broke
did.
all social norms, like, your mom and
Like,
your
2
dad and, like,
cowboys and, like
everybody was watching it, and it was 2 straight men, and they were both very at the top of their careers,
Mhm.
sex symbols, and that's why it was so revolutionary was because they were so especially, like, RIP Heath Ledger was such an
Yeah,
advocate for the queer community and for why he wanted, even though he's a straight man, to play that role. Like, it was just it was ahead of its time.
it
And
really was.
that's really why I think that it's blowing up is because it does this thing where it takes something that is overtly patriarchal, like hockey. What is more
Or
masculine?
I guess football, I guess, I don't
No, I think hockey is way more masculine
think it's actual
because
balls.
in hot yeah, that's what I'm saying. They get into brawls on ice.
Yeah.
Like, literally
I'm so glad they have dental insurance, at least I hope they do.
yeah, no, I would assume that they do, but,
You never know.
I just think it's so beautiful, and so shout out to the gay hockey show that I haven't watched yet, and I
And
can't wait to watch it.
that was originally a book.
Yeah, that was shout out to the gay hockey book.
The gay hockey book. I think this explosion of smut reading really opened the gate for more of that pop culture queer romance.
Oh, for sure, and, like, we went to that bookstore the other day
Mhm.
that was, like, literally the entire book aesthetic as fuck, by the way.
Yes, loved
Like,
it.
beautiful, beautiful place called the Book Lounge
Yep, the book lounge.
in St. Pete, and
Mhm.
it was all romance. Every book in there was romance, and they had a
Yep.
whole
Well, I
LGBTQ
would say it's
sec
like 90% romance. Because
Yeah.
they had like a mystery and a horror section, but like
Yeah, but
but mostly
it
romance.
was mostly romance, and I just thought it was really cool because it was, like it had this really beautiful spot to gather, and they had food, and they had, all kinds of stuff, and, it, really showed, like, what a cultural moment we're having around reading again.
Yeah, this resurgence of reading, which is so important, especially as like AI is growing, and that's a whole other like hour-long tangent that I have with it and how it like negatively impacts our mental capacity, right? And so the fact that people are actually reading, even if it is just like popular culture books, they're still reading and it's still helping improve their mind and broaden their perspectives.
Well, I think people are just dying for human experiences,
That
right?
too.
I have a bunch of nieces and nephews, and they're starting to get to the age where they like retro things,
Don't
and
tell me
yeah.
when retro is considered now.
I mean, like, retro is when I was growing up. Maybe I'm a little bit older than you. So it's like Walkman
Uh,
is retro.
mm,
Like a CD is retro.
mm. I have
Um,
heard about the CD thing.
you know what the big thing is around the tweenies? They want analog cameras, not like an Instax. They want like you remember like the Canon QuickShot?
Yeah.
They want the Canon QuickShot.
I can see that because especially as a person who has a bunch of pictures on their phone and like having to pay for that cloud storage and like the dark side of cloud storage is once it's up at the cloud, it's no longer your own personal property. So it can be used however that company deems it. And so like having to subscribe to constant cloud storage, I can see the draw of having those physical pictures again, because I can just go to my mom's house and look at all of her photo books. Now, the downside is being a survivor of flood is some of my old pictures did get damaged from the flood, but you can save them. You can save them.
Well, and that's actually a really good point. My grandma recently passed away, and she was huge on documenting her pictures on Facebook. So forever, and when we moved them out of their house, my mom and my aunt were like, "We don't really need these picture books anymore because
Just got rid of them.
we have all of these pictures on Facebook." And I was like, "I don't know why, but I feel like I need to save these." And so I at least took the ones from like when we were kids, and like I kept them somewhere. And lo and behold, my grandma's Facebook got shut down because, as you get older, what'll happen is, like, if, like, a bot takes it over or something like that, they'll just shut it down. So my
No
family
way.
grandma's Facebook page got shut down and all of those pictures got lost. But I was like, "Ha, ha, ha." I kept the pictures, man, because they're analog. You can't, I mean, as
Right.
long as they don't get destroyed in a flood or a fire, like, you have them.
Right. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it is a good tool that we have with technology of being able to store all these photos, being able to scan, doc, whatever. But at the same time, there is a fragility to it.
Well, and it's also, there's a privacy concern, you know what I mean?
100%.
Like,
But we've already signed away our privacy.
oh, 100%. I remember having this discussion with my ex who didn't want us to get an Alexa in the house,
Mhm.
and, like, we would go back and forth, and I was like, "Well, it's just gonna make our lives easier. Why can't we get one?" "Oh, I don't want it to listen to me." Girl,
Your pocket listener.
yeah. We all carry around little surveillance devices, and, I mean, like, it is the way of the world, and I know some people have even gone back to, like, the flip phone kind of a thing. It's not me. It ain't me. I use my phone. Yeah.
I do use my phone.
I use mine for work a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I could potentially use a flip phone, but I also like the QWERTY keyboard, so I would do more of the sidekick if I were to revert. I missed a sidekick.
Listen, that was, like, peak technology, I'm gonna say, like, 2008, 2009. Okay,
Mhm.
we had sidekicks.
So many fun
Yeah.
phones.
Remember the iPods that came out that had the music videos on it? It was, like,
Yes.
before it connected to the internet,
Yeah,
but,
like, you
like,
just, like, download a music video.
onto it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm, mhm, and so, like, that was amazing, and then we just had so many
That's so
great things.
magical.
The music was really fun.
Yes.
Remember Timbaland? Yes,
Oh,
literally Timbaland produced everything. Like, oh my gosh,
mhm.
just so much fun. Nelly Furtado,
Oh,
come on.
I miss Nelly.
Yeah,
Oh my
Nelly
goodness. Furtado.
Fabulous. Yeah.
Such a
Mm.
such a fun I think there was, like, so much I mean, each music decade has its thing, but, like, with that surge of technology, there was so much fun with, like, the different auto tunes, the different ways that you could DJ essentially, and then, like, maybe we're just, like, in a pause moment.
The Black Eyed Peas, man.
Man,
Ella Funk. Now that's an album.
it is. Gorillas.
Oh, yesterday, I pre-saved. The Gorillas are coming up with an album this year.
No kidding.
Yes, come on. Come on, give us back 2009.
I mean, I love how time progresses sometimes, but what a it
What a time.
well, and also, like, we weren't all just glued to there was still, like, that whole time period
But I think I got my smartphone at, like, 2012. I really do. I don't think I got one.
I think mine was at the end of 2012 or 2013.
Yeah, I waited until it was absolutely imperative because I didn't want
Mhm.
one. I remember I was such a hippie.
Same.
Well, I do wanna talk a little bit about what's going on astrologically this week because we are in January, which can people think be like a time for, rebirth and all of that, but we're really not there yet.
Right, and there could
Yeah.
like, we put so much, at least as an American culture, so much pressure on that first week of the year.
Yeah, and truly, okay, so we're moving towards the end of the year of the snake. And
Mhm.
one of the things I was reflecting on this week when I was thinking about the way that a snake sheds its skin is that the end of the shedding period is really the worst part.
Mm.
Right? Because it's like, okay, they start to, like, wiggle their way out, and then it's sort of going, 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 and then the end is, like, just really
Holding
getting
on.
holding on
Mm.
until you have that final release. And so that's kinda how I've been picturing January so far is,
The
like,
final release.
that final release is impending, and, as we're moving into this week, it's really a time for reflection before we start to take action, right? The energy this week, it's really gonna be grounded and goal-oriented. Think about your, like, discipline and structure rather than, like, your long-term vision now is about, like, setting the stones that are gonna get you there once
Mm.
we move into that year of the fire horse.
Which I
So,
kinda feel like that's how just winter is in general, right?
yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And maybe that's why I've been feeling the way that I'm feeling. Like, I've just been feeling very resolved, if that makes sense. Like
No, it
that.
does, yeah.
And it's interesting because at the end of last year, I was just feeling like fried, you
Mhm.
know? So it's time now to not rush into anything, to assess and to prepare because what's gonna happen is when we hit that year of the fire horse, things are gonna start
Valid.
to go off. So, right now in this week, we have a new moon coming up this weekend.
Mhm.
It's a new moon that is still in Capricorn.
Love a
So
Capricorn.
we love a Capricorn,
Me
very
too.
back to that grounded energy.
I think just, like, my inner fire sign just really craves that weirdo, earthy groundedness of a Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. My ascendant is Capricorn, so, like, I'm a little biased. But, Wednesday is a time where Mercury is gonna be in opposition with Jupiter. So, what's gonna happen here is that you might have some big conversations that are gonna be coming up midweek, and you're gonna be, like, ready to brainstorm. You're gonna be, like, ready to jump in and take action, but you are gonna want to ground yourself and remember that we're not there yet because there's some potential for getting yourself into something that is like, "Ooh, I bit off more than I could chew," or,
Yeah.
I exaggerated a little too much, or, maybe I spoke too soon.
Just, like, think before you speak
Think
kind of.
before you speak, yeah. And ask yourself, is this goal or this thing that I'm trying to do realistic, or am I overpromising? You know, I think a lot of us in the beginning of the year, we just wanna take on everything.
Right, because you don't do resolutions, do you?
No, 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 I do intentions. So, my intention for this year is really just to let go of the outcome. I think that's what I think.
We have talked about that. I
Yeah,
think we
but
did
I
talk
don't know
about
if
that
we
one.
talked about it on the pod,
Did
but
we?
maybe we did.
Oh, maybe not.
Let go of the outcome is my intention for the year.
Mm.
And what that means for me is that because maybe of my Capricorn ascendant and a little bit of my Gemini sun, I have a tendency to
Want
really.
to structure and plan things out.
Yeah, and sometimes you just can't do that,
Mhm.
Sometimes the best things come when things fall apart, right? So, I'm gonna tell a little side story. When the year started, my good friend here came over and we did some tarot readings for each other.
By the good friend, do you mean me?
Yes, 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 yes. And so we were sitting here and um uh my reading was not ideal. And it was one of those moments where, like, I didn't wanna hear it. I was in my inner child self, my inner teenager self throwing a fit about it,
I was there, yep.
and I don't even know what overcame me. I was just, like, looked at the tarot deck and I was like, I can't remember what I said.
You're like,
Oh,
"It's just tarot. It's just
yeah.
tarot."
No, 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 I said something and you're like, "That's a dangerous thing to say." Whatever I said, I remember you saying that and me going, "Okay, we need to take a beat on this." And then I found out, like, as that was happening, like, literally as soon as you left, I got the call that my grandma was
As
dying.
soon as I left.
As soon as you left.
I
Yeah,
Wow.
that my grandma had died.
Well, and, like, maybe it was just, like, it was a long year for you. There was a lot of changes for you last year, and then maybe you just, like, kind of felt that
I think so,
change.
that's what I'm saying. I think I literally, because okay, I think we've talked about mitochondrial DNA here, right?
Mhm.
So mitochondrial DNA is only passed down from mother to child, right? It doesn't matter what your gender is, but we all carry our mother's mitochondrial DNA. So this is my mother's mother. So, like, literally, not only is, like, my DNA connected to her, but it's, like, interwoven in. So it's, like, almost like in that moment, like, I'm feeling the end of this thing. And I don't know why. I really thought I was gonna be okay because I was expecting it. My grandma was 88 years old. She had dementia. She
Mm.
had aphasia. She was not living a pleasant life. And I was like, I feel like I'm gonna be okay. I feel like I'm gonna be I was not okay. Like, I was
Mm.
so sad. I just, like, overcome with
Well, I mean,
grief.
because it's like, okay, yes, she's not living her fullest life, but at the same time, she's still there, and so it's like, what's difficult about that transition of death is, like, that person is no longer physically in the same realm as us, and so it's gonna be hard, and that person, you know, they've known you since you were a fetus inside your mama's belly,
So
essentially,
true. So true.
and so it's a shock.
But also, like, what a blessing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
there's a
Like,
lot of people who don't have their grandparents
my
at all.
great grandma my family, they just, like, genes are good. Like, my great grandma was alive until I was 22. My
Your
great grandma,
great-grandma.
my mom's mom's mom. Grandma Hazel. If I ever had a daughter, her name would be Hazel.
Love that name.
Because I loved my grandma Hazel so much. And my grandma Barbara, who just died, she was like that. She was one of these women that like I just thought she was gonna live forever. You know what I mean? And like 88 years old is a long life. So it's not like she didn't. But I say all of this to say that that night I was fighting the outcome, and really letting go of the outcome just meant that if things need to fall apart, they need to fall apart, and if they fall apart, it's because it's serving my highest good.
Hmm. Yeah, which I think I was also trying to tell you, but you just weren't hearing it.
Oh, I was hearing it. I was just literally you were processing. I was processing it all, and I'm telling you, my inner child was throwing a fit. Our inner children are something that is beautiful to be in touch with, but the worst side of our inner child is our inner teenager.
Oh, absolutely. Like, oh my gosh, just anger incarnate.
And that was what was there that night. My inner
Mm.
teenager was just being a little feisty, hormonal, angry, sassy human, you know?
Mm.
So, yeah, all that to say, letting go of the outcome is my goal, is my intention for the year.
Yeah.
So anytime that something does happen and it doesn't feel like it's what I wanted, I'm going to remind myself it's because I need to let go of the outcome because the universe has other plans for me.
Right. Which just kind of goes into like trusting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You got to trust.
Like, but like, letting go of the outcome, I think it's important to note that letting go of the outcome and trusting isn't doing nothing. Like, you still have to put in some form of action.
Yeah, that's so true. So, and if we can get through midweek, we can get to the action part of the week. On Friday, we're going to have a trine with Venus and Uranus. And that's going to bring some unexpected insights, especially around your actual value. Like, so when I say your actual value, it could be your internal value, it could be your self worth, it could be your actual money in your bank account. But just expect that you're going to get some kind of an inspirational boost right there on Friday as we go towards the weekend. And then we're going to have Venus enter Aquarians, where we're going to shift towards freedom and authenticity. This could be a good time if you're looking for love.
To go get some love. So
Yeah.
go on the speed date.
Yeah. Venus is a good time. So, but, make sure if you are
Practice
that.
safely.
I saw a shirt out Spellcrafter this week that said practice safe hex, and I think we need to get it.
Yep.
But yeah, make sure that you're being intentional and that you're trying to find someone who you're not just attracted to, but aligns with your values as well. Remember the tricky energy of the week, so it could be a whoopsie daisies if you don't. Um,
Again, safety.
So yeah, so with that said, we also on January 18th are going to have our first new moon of the year.
Ooh, tell me more. Tell me more.
This new moon is at 28 degrees in Capricorn. It is all about serious intention setting. So Capricorn is going to ask us, what are you building towards and what work are you willing to put in to do it?
I think that's a really important final statement. It's like, like follow-up statement is what work are you willing to put into it? Because like I could have all the intention, like my intention is to expand and start to work towards being a millionaire, right? But if I'm not willing to put in that work to say like get another job or get 2 new jobs and like make that work to intentionally become a millionaire, whatever that may be, then maybe that's not the intention for me this year.
Absolutely. And it's not about instant gratification, right? So, this is something that is about sustainability. It's about making a plan for yourself that is going to be something that's not going to drain you. It's
Mhm.
going to be something that's going to match what you want in your life path. Um, and it's going to really help if you go into it in a structured way. It's going to be important that you make some kind of plan to ground yourself before the moon, right? So some people would look at the new moon and be like, I don't see anything. That she's just hiding.
There.
She's just hiding.
Just like
Okay.
peekaboo.
So you still need to ground yourself. So what I like to do to ground myself under a new moon is that I go outside and I put my feet literally in the dirt. And I stand there under the new moon and I just absorb her energy. It's about knowing what your intention is, but also opening yourself up to the power that that she has,
Mhm.
in thinking about whether your intention is actually moving you towards those big rocks that we're talking about.
Right, and I think it can be so clearing and just so settling in general just being outside. Like, being able to take that time and sit or stand or kneel with nature around you and just calmly and deeply breathe without any sort of intention in your mind. And then, like, if you just kind of quiet yourself down a little bit, like, being able to feel and sense those vibrations of the earth, feel that buzz from the air can be
Absolutely.
very just profound.
Well, it's a calling in, right?
Mhm.
Whereas full moon is more about a release, right? So this is a calling in of the energy. When you say feel the buzz, it's a way to literally absorb the energy into yourself to bring your intentions into reality. So when you do work with the energy of this new moon, I would encourage you to set that intention as if that intention has already happened to you. So instead of saying, I wish, or I
Want
want, or I hope, you say, I have experienced, or I am doing this.
Mhm, and maybe put an emotion along with it, like, "I'm so happy that I am able to do X, Y, or Z."
Yes, absolutely. So this is a really, really good moon for setting grounded intentions. So think
Mhm.
about, again, those long-term things. This is not a, hey, I want this by next week.
No.
This is a big picture moon. This is the macro moon of the year.
Right, and I think it's important too to add that the energy of the moon and the new moon is still felt, like, a few days before and a few days after, so, like, to maybe help ease some of that pressure of, like, "I have to do it right now, and if I don't, I screw up, and I will never have this intention ever." It's like, no, no, like, you can still work with the energy of the moon a little bit before and a little bit after, it's more would you say more palpable or more potent,
Yes.
like, on the day of?
Absolutely, and I would also say that this moon is important about coming up with those actions that you can follow up with, right? So one
Very
of
Capricorn of
yeah,
it.
very Capricorn, right? So when you do picture as if it's already happened to you and then set the intention, then think about what are those actionable next steps that you're going to take. What are those small little things? For example, I last year had a rough year. I was super into fitness the year before and had been for about 3 to 4 years. I was working very intentionally with my personal trainer, and then I was going through a divorce and I had to stop working with my personal trainer. And so I this year want to it's not even about getting into fitness, it's about feeling better in my body.
Right.
So instead of
I
starting
think that's a very important
okay,
distinction. It's just feeling better in your body. I
exactly.
think that's a lot healthier, or I feel that that's a lot healthier of an intention, especially for this kind of new moon work, than I just want to get fit because what is
Mhm.
fit?
What is
Because it
fit?
looks different for every single person.
Exactly. And so to start to feel better in my body, I can't just jump into going to the gym because I haven't worked out in a year. First thing I needed to do was start to address some of the things that were misaligned in my body. So I found a chiropractor. eh,
How are
uh,
they?
Great. I'll share the information with you. I
Okay.
really enjoyed a little bit on the expensive side, but
Yeah. Figured.
Wednesday I'm going to go to a somatic heliotropic breathwork course there. So, yeah.
So I know somatic, but heliotropic?
Yeah, so heliotropic breathwork is like,
Are you breathing underwater?
no, 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 it gets you almost into like a DMT state. It's supposed to yeah, it's supposed to, basically activate the same places in your brain that you are activating when you trip, and it helps you to build your tolerance, right? So it's
Hmm.
something I've been wanting to try, and then I was there. What I really liked about this place when I went in and was talking to them is, first of all, I walked in and they had intention cards, and I was like, "Okay, so this is a vibe, I like
Right.
this."
I love it.
I like the energy. When I started to sit down and talk to them and they were asking me questions, the questions they were asking me were not just about my, like, physical
Because
alignment.
you
It
just did,
was
like, an intake, right?
yeah, it was about my internal and then I got an adjustment. Um, so when she did the adjustment on me, dude, first thing she did was she went to, like, my mid back
Mhm.
and she popped something, like, she lit and, like, I felt like I was gonna throw up, dude. And,
Whoa.
like, I told her, I was like, "I feel like I'm gonna throw up." She said, "That's totally normal." And then
What?
immediately I started crying, but not from pain, like, I was
No,
like
just, like, somatic release.
yeah, emotional somatic release, and I was like, what was that?" And I was like, "I'm so sorry. I'm crying. I don't know why." And she said, "That was your vagus nerve." And I
No, I
know,
had chills.
yeah, your vagus nerve is the thing that when it's blocked, it causes anxiety. And I have a lot of anxiety from just like genetics. So it was really beautiful. And she also said that's the area of your back that that opens up your ribs so that you can breathe better. So
Which makes sense why it would be connected with anxiety, because anxiety is usually like a restriction of the breath and a restriction of the
that so she's like, "Can you feel that?" And I was like, "Yes, I can absolutely feel that." And so that was really cool. And then of course, what I went there for was my neck had a crick in it, and then she did my neck, and that was
I went for the crick in
yeah,
my neck and I
yeah.
got my anxiety released.
But that's what I'm saying, you know what I mean? I went there because I was like, "Okay, this place is like 2 minutes from my house." Like they
Mhm.
look like they're kind of holistic. I hate like medicine and that kind of stuff. So nothing against medicine.
If
I'm
you need
just
it, take it.
yeah, if you need to take it, like 100%. I'm not one of those people. It's just personally, I'd like
For you, for your body.
a little bit more of a holistic approach. Um, so it's just a beautiful experience. And then I found out they do movement classes and they do work classes and all of this other stuff.
No kidding, I need their info.
Oh, I'm gonna give you their info. And it was adorable when I got there. She like does babies too, and she
Oh,
was
yeah, I've
like
heard about that. Mhm.
adjusting a baby, and it was like the cutest thing ever. And the dad was like, "Yeah, since the baby's been getting the adjustments, like they're just like regulated and they're sleeping well and like all of this." And I was like,
Dang.
man, what cool parent. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what a cool
But
parent.
also, like, a lot of trust as a parent to put into somebody else too.
Yeah,
So,
so shout out, the place is called Mana in St.
nice.
Love
I can't wait to learn more and check
yeah.
them out.
So I'm going to go back to the chiropractor until
Mhm.
my body is feeling better. And then after that, I'm going to go and do some yoga. And then once I feel good stretching in my body, then I'm going to add back in some cardio days.
Right.
And then once I have those cardio down, then I'm going to start weight training. Like I'm not just going to jump into let me try and lift all.
Right, it's getting all those basic structures in place for your needs first.
Yes.
Like, I mean, for me, I don't know if I talked about, like, my Yule wish, the one that I got,
Oh,
my final one.
yeah.
So my final intention for the whole ending of Yule was, and it is one very near and dear to my heart because I've been feeling very disconnected, but, like, also, like, been wanting to be drawn towards the mountains more. So it's, like, just growing more into my outdoorsiness and, like, getting re-in touched? Yeah, that is not an English word. Back in touch. There we go. That's how we say it. Back in touch with nature. And like another part of me is also working with how I myself present in my own identity. So like, yeah, female, of course, proudly, openly bi. But like reclaiming my own name even. So like, going by Stevie instead. And so like practicing saying that with friends and eventually family. Um Maybe, but most like with friends and like
I
how I am
love
here.
Stevie for you.
Thank you.
You're such a Stevie. In
Thanks.
fact, that's all I'm gonna call you from now on.
So sassy and magical, but also like proudly like outdoorsy too. And so by that I mean like, not only going above and beyond like my daily outdoor walks, but actually spending more intentional time outside, like maybe checking out new parks because there's so many in this county and in the neighboring county. And like Florida, I don't know if you know this, Florida has a shit ton of state parks. And we
Yes.
need to support our state parks because those are what keep our ecosystem healthy and thriving. And we don't want them to turn into golf courses.
I really wanna hit some springs this year.
Oh,
I really
absolutely.
wanna hit some springs
And now
this
is
year.
honestly the time to do it because all the freaking manatees and they're so freaking cute. Ugh. It's manatee season.
Okay, let's go see some manatees.
And the springs are also magical.
Okay, Hell's Kitchen, manatees. Those are
Palace Kitchen, Manatees, Casadega.
Hell's Kitchen, manatees, Casadega, St. Augustine.
St. Augustine, Casadega in the same trip because I think one's on the way to the other.
Bum, bum, bum,
And I think I'm
bum.
gonna actually check off like 2 or 3 springs on the way.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So,
Mention.
I also went to this witch shop that I really like this past week, and I found these incredible little spellwork dice. So I was
They are so
thinking,
cute.
yeah, to end off today, I want you to intuit and pick a dice, any of the 4 dice, and then I want you to roll it, and I want you to tell us how we're going to do some spell work for the new moon.
Okay, so I kind of like just felt for it and I went ahead and grabbed the red dice or the red die. Because I was like Aquarius, it's associated with the root chakra, and like red is associated with that
With
chakra
that
as
chakra,
well.
yeah.
But then because we were just talking about intentions,
Ooh.
this dice is the intention dice.
Stop.
like,
What?
the
How
hot match.
perfect for the new moon. Okay.
I know, so I'm gonna roll it 1 second. Ah! And so fitting for this new year because it landed on the little money symbol.
Boom. I also got some moneymaker oil from that spell shop yesterday.
See? It's just money on money on money. Alright, let's see here. Ooh, this is such a spicy dice because it has both love and passion. Anyway,
Ooh.
so money. Witches are aware of and state their worth. Ooh. State your worth.
State your worth. Okay.
You always deserve to be compensated fairly for your labor and enjoy your prosperous destiny.
Pop off, Stevie.
So cast a spell to bring monetary abundance your way.
So if what you were looking for, and remember that it's not a quick fix on this, if what you were looking for was a little financial freedom for this new moon, please feel free to do a little money making intention. I know I will. I will be using my moneymaker oil. I will be doing a little bit of money intention.
I think it's important too to add, like, when we're doing that money intention, like, thinking about not just the amount, but how you feel with that amount and maybe what you would even do with that amount.
Yeah, like, are you looking for a quick stimulus to go on a vacation?
Right.
No.
Or are you looking for just a little extra side money for a tattoo?
Yeah. Or maybe you're just gonna trip on, $20 and go get yourself some coffee. Like,
That's expensive coffee, but yes.
you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Like, get some coffee or share some coffee with a friend.
With a friend.
Like,
Yeah.
have a little lunch date and, like,
Yeah.
that feeling that you get from it, "Oh, I found this $20 and I was able to treat my friend to this coffee date, and it just brought me so much joy and fulfillment."
I'm manifesting money for every single human
To
who
have
listens
coffee with
to
a
this
friend.
pod. Yes, to have coffee with a friend. Um, yeah, so thank you so much. I really have loved doing this podcast, and I'm so excited to see the new plans we have for this coming year. We will be
We have
going,
some big
yeah,
ideas.
we will be going through so many things. We have some great ideas. You might see us live
Oh,
at some time.
we're a hoot.
We are a hoot, yes, and I hope that you could follow us on our socials. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube, on
And
Spotify.
please like and subscribe if you like our content and share us with a friend or 2 or 12.
And join us on the next episode of
Full Moon
Moxie.